Somebody has them on. No,
Good morning, everyone. We will begin the July 10th, 2023, 9 a.m. Wilson County Commissioners Court meeting. Let the minutes reflect we have a quorum. Commissioner, will you lead us in a prayer, and then we'll follow with pledge of allegiance.
bow your heads and pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this blessed day. Lord, we're glad to be here in your presence. May the things that we do today honor you. Lord, we just ask that you be with Tony as he continues to recover from his fall. And Lord, we know there are others out there that are sick and in need of your helping hand. Lord, we just pray for them and their families. Lord, bless us in your service. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Agenda item number 3, we have public comments. Has anybody signed up for public comment? There are no public comments. We have several certificates of completions of awards, all for the same class of cybersecurity awareness training for Christina Moots, Gabrielle Landrum, Kaylee Rabb, Gloria Bailey. We'll have those put in the record. Agenda item number 5, extension activity reports. Any? We have none?
No, they're in here.
They're in there? Okay. I didn't know if y'all wanted to make comment or anything. Okay, you're, all right.
They're shy this morning.
They usually are not shy. They'll come up and talk. Okay, agenda item number 6, Commissioner Martin, Precinct 1, discuss and take action to approve the memorandum of understanding between Wilson County Public Library and the Wilson County Historical Commission.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Storr, if you don't mind, come up here. This memorandum of understanding was asked for by the Historical Commission? Yes. And so, since the Wilson County Public Library System maintains the archival records of the Wilson County Historical Commission, they just wanted a document that enumerated whose everyone's responsibilities are. It's been reviewed by the county attorney. I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Wilson County Public Library and the Wilson County Historical Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Peridolo to approve the memorandum of understanding between Wilson County Public Library and the Wilson County Historical Commission. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 7, do we have Mr. Caldwell here?
No, I have the information.
All right. Ms. Huron, will you take the podium? And thank you. This is to discuss and take action to adopt a court resolution that specifies take-home county vehicles operated by commissioners are only authorized for official use only and shall be operated in furtherance of the county business. Therefore, they are not subject to IRS withholding rules concerning taxable fringe benefits. All right, Ms. Huron, you have the floor.
Yes, I think I'm short. I have one here. Did everybody have one? Yes, this is a resolution that was discussed about the take-home policy. I'm going to read the resolution as we've reviewed in our office and also with the county auditor to assure that the IRS rules are in compliance. And I will read out the resolution. Be it remembered, at a regular meeting of Commissioners Court of Wilson County held on July 10th, 2023, on motion made by whichever commissioner will make the motion, and the precinct, and seconded by the commissioner that will second, and the precinct, the following resolution is adopted. Whereas Wilson County has adopted an employee policy providing for the use of county-owned vehicles for personal use. Whereas Wilson County Commissioners are in possession of county-owned vehicles in the course of their duties. Whereas a need arises for a commissioner to take home a county-owned vehicle for personal use and in the course of their duties. The Wilson County Commissioners Court is concerned with the use of county-owned vehicles during the period of time the commissioner is engaged in personal business and using a county vehicle for personal use. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wilson County Commissioners Court's resolution that specifies a take-home county vehicles operated by the commissioners are only authorized for official use only and shall be operated in furtherance of county business. Therefore, they will not or are not subject to IRS withholding rules concerning taxable fringe benefits. And that is the resolution. Court has any questions or wishes to discuss, and then whether or not to approve this policy.
Thank you, Ms. Huron. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on that resolution.
I'll make a motion that we adopt that resolution.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Paradolo, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Is there any other discussion or questions for Ms. Huron? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Agenda item number 8. We have Ms. Brenda Trevino, our county auditor, discuss and approve revised UniFirst contract for precincts 1, 2, 3, 4, maintenance department, collections facility, and expo center.
Yeah, so basically what we did, there's no change in the services themselves. We had 2 contracts. We had one where in 2018, all the commissioners were put into one master service agreement, and then we had another contract specifically for the maintenance, collection department and for the expo center. And so what he did is I asked him to put it all on one master agreement, all of our services with them. In addition to that, they exempted us from any price increases, so they reverted all of the prices back to the 2018 original prices. And so that's what this new master service agreement reflects.
What is the term on that contract?
It was signed originally for a 5-year term. I believe it's 60 months.
In 2018?
Yes, I believe, but by, so the date of this one is 6/29/23, so I'm assuming that it will renew. I don't remember what we discussed about that.
So if one of the
Because-
commissioners doesn't want to use these services, is he compelled to do so?
Well, right now, yes, because the master service agreement was signed and agreed to all of the precincts being under one contract.
Okay, when does it term? When are we out of the contract with UniFirst?
I would have to look,
Because if this is a move to extend services by virtue of going back to 2018 prices, I'm not for doing that.
I do not have clarification on whether or not the date of this contract will revert back to 2018. I don't know that.
So let me get this
Or I
straight.
can
So
find out
the-
and-
They reverted back to 2018 pricing?
Yes.
What was it presently then? I mean, do we,
So, no. So every year they have, yes, you can look it up. Every year there is, just like with everything, there are some price increases. They just cent-wise, because like per uniform, if a pair of jeans was 60 cents, we may be charged 70 cents now over the course. And so there was no consistency because some of them on the old contract were the old prices from 2018, even janitorial supplies, and then on the one for the collection facility, the expo center, and maintenance, those prices reflected the 20, I think that contract was signed in 2022, I believe it was, 21, 22, and so they wanted consistency in pricing all the way around. So instead of increasing everything to the current price,
So it's not an annual contract?
No, the contract that commissioners signed in 2018, I believe was a 60-month, if I'm not mistaken.
And this deals with y'all's uniforms, correct? For your
It's
workers?
for uniforms, all maintenance supplies, all janitorial supplies that they supply for the janitorial services as well.
If it's to extend the contract from, instead of from the 2018 deal, I wouldn't be in favor of it either. I know Mr. Aiken is not happy with the services, and I've had a lot of trouble with them. I'm not very happy with their services either. Neither are my men.
Is this the point in time where we put out to bids for services like
Not for
this?
this one, because it hasn't expired.
No, but we're just wanting to make sure
No,
that
I
they're
know,
not trying
and
to
you don't-
use this
that's
contract to
fine.
extend.
You don't have to sign that now, we would just need to pay the contract prices as they come in until the,
When is the contract over with?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
I don't know.
Okay,
if
so you're
that's-
needing an approval to pay the bills of what we have?
No. This is an approval to update the contract with the new prices, but their question is, does that, by signing that today, does that start a new contract? I don't have the answer to that.
Okay, then,
So-
I think the question, if I may, is whether or not you're going to amend the existing contract to have the new prices, so it keeps that contract in place until it's over, and it's not creating a new contract that continues or furthers the obligation of the county, and I think that's the question.
Yes.
Have y'all had any issues with uniforms? I mean, we had a meeting with them last week, and I wasn't aware of any issues with them, with
Yeah,
pricing not being
but
consistent.
my guy's missing some clothes, that's about it.
Yeah, there's
Shirts and stuff like that.
been a couple of things, but I mean, for me, they've straightened it out pretty quick when we brought it to their attention, so.
Yeah, I'm not aware.
But we still have a contract with them?
Yeah,
But we don't know when that date is, when it's
I
over
don't
with?
have I left the original one on my desk, but I do believe it's a 60-month
So,
contract.
okay,
So
I'm,
it would be 18.
I'm not confused, I understand, but I'm just saying that, if we don't approve it right now, or sign it, what then?
If we don't approve it right now, then the prices that we're getting charged now remain in effect until we update the contract.
We're just concerned that we're not extending
I
the
know.
contract.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is not an extension of it, we're just approving,
I don't know that.
I'd rather table it.
let's table, it. Okay, you want to make a motion then, sir?
I would like to table the item number 8 as far as discussion on a UniFirst contract till we find out exactly when the contract terms and possibly allow other vendors to be able to come in and bid on the services.
Have a second? We have a second? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion to table agenda item number 8 by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Paradola.
No, because remember, I was the odd man out. Well, we may have approved it, but I was still.
We have any discussion? Hear none, call for the vote. All those in favor to table, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, we have tabled agenda item number 8 till we get those questions answered. Agenda item number 9, again, Brenda Trevino, County Auditor, request to go out for bids on the following for Wilson County. A, material hauling, material plus hauling, fuel, lawn, maintenance services, and I think that's it for agenda number 9.
Yeah, so the bid packets were emailed out to you guys, and so we are just needing, the request is to go out for bids, so that we can get the publication to the Wilson County News by this Friday, on those three items.
I'll make a motion that we give the auditor authority to go out for the bids on material hauling plus material hauling, fuel, and the lawn maintenance services.
Second.
Are there any, well, let me just say this, if you don't have, if you have any changes, we'll need those before Friday. Any changes to the bid packets that were emailed to you.
I think, oh,
I think we're all good, aren't we?
yeah, I think we're all good on the material. The only question I had, and I know it's come up before, was on the lawn maintenance services. Did we want to include, I don't know who's mowing the JP3 office, and I know that's been a problem. Did we need to add that to the lawn?
Let's get this motion on forward. Motion made by Commissioner Paradola, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any discussion? Let's go with that.
Yeah, so that's my question.
Okay.
Do we
So
want
you're
to
talking
add
about the
JP
lawn services?
Yeah, lawn services, do we need to add the JP3 office
I
to?
think we did
We,
last time.
I think we
because
already, they do it already.
They are mowing JP3.
Yes, but they're mowing it as an additional service.
As an additional.
It's not listed as, we have the courthouse complex, the Annex 3 complex, the adjacent parking lot on Fourth Street, the Criminal Justice Center complex, and the Expo Center are currently on.
So for the next contract coming in, we need to
We need to,
add that
you want
in
to
there.
add JP3 as, yeah.
Because Jeff ain't mowing it.
We're also possibly looking at some other alternatives for that, but nothing for this meeting right now, so. All right, there's no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Agenda item number 10, we have Cindy Stafford, Emergency Management, discuss and take action on Wilson County participating in the Quad County LEPC with Karnes County, Atascosa County, and McMullen County. Ms. Stafford, you have the floor.
This was tabled a couple of months ago. The judges decided from all 4 counties that they wanted to meet. They've had that meeting, they've discussed it, they think it's a great idea. All council, I did send it to Ms. Huron on June 22nd, has approved it through council. So at this point, it's just a matter of commissioners voting to make this Quad County LEPC, since we all face the same hazards, same companies. We just feel like it would make it easier for everybody.
So, Ms. Stafford, before we call for a vote on this, would you explain to the public what an LEPC is?
Yes, an LEPC is a government that works with all the communities and the industries for hazardous mitigation with all of the chemicals, Tier 2 reports, the trucks that drive through with certain levels, certain types of materials in it. Accident happens, we deal with it. And then we're supposed to do planning and exercise for the large plants that we have.
This was one of the parts that we were behind on, and it was already in the process of being worked on. It's very much needed to have that plan together with our surrounding counties. And so this is where we're at, now we're moving forward.
Yeah, we currently haven't had an LEPC in 14 years. So I guess we've been pretty lucky with accidents and everything, but as we know, we can never say never at this point.
That's true.
I'll make a motion to approve for Wilson County to participate in the Quad County LEPC with Karnes County, Atascosa County, and McMullen County.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any discussion, or the further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agenda item number 11, Commissioner Martin, Precinct 1, discuss take action to establish the Wilson County Broadband Committee and appoint Nikki Storr, Sandy Michael, John Holcomb, and Clay Meckel to the committee. Nikki Storr will be the chair of the committee. Other members may be appointed as necessary. Commissioner?
Thank you, Judge. At our conference last week or week before, I think we're a little behind where we should be. We need to form this committee to make sure that we're reporting information to the state and have the latest and up-to-date on broadband. We've kind of talked about this off and on for a while. I spoke to Ms. Storr about this, and the reason I'd like her to be the chairman is she gave me a list of about 50 ideas right off the bat, so I think she has a good handle on what we need to do and to help the county determine where we're really at in broadband. Maybe we might need to dispute the state's data or the federal government's data on what our broadband availability is and the speeds that we have. And Judge, I believe you said you had one other person that you thought would be appropriate to add to the
I just met
committee,
that
too.
other person, Vicky, correct? Yes. Okay. So we'll talk to her a little later on,
Okay,
as a spare, so. And she's also IT for the library.
okay. Yeah, so this would be a start for this group. I would expect them to get together and then let us know if they have other people. Of course, everybody, I think, knows Nikki. She works at the library. Sandy Meagle is a retired teacher. She has quite a bit of background in this area. Clay Meckel is from Poth, and he works for Apple. And I think he's got a lot of insight, especially into the Poth area. So you might need to find somebody from maybe some of the other communities too, that are specialists in their communities to add to this. So I'd make a motion to appoint Nikki Storr as chairman of the Wilson County Broadband Committee with the additional members of Sandy Meagle, John Holcomb, and Clay Meckel.
Motion made? Go ahead. Sir. Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Paradola. Is there any other discussion for agenda item number 11? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Agenda item number 12, amendment to professional services agreement for engineering services for county engineering services rate increase. Wow, that's a, got to read that slow. Brenda, will you do the presentation on that, or who will do that?
I can do it if you want.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah. Since
So do we have a contract with them or not?
Yes, we do. And so what they're just basically asking for is to amend their rates. Their rates haven't changed since 2018. And so it looks like, with a couple of exceptions, most everything is just going up $5 an hour from the rates that they had before. So this doesn't affect their contract except for the rates that they charge us for the work that they do for us.
So when was the contract from and to?
The contract was established in 2018. And their new billing rates are here,
So what is it, yearly, or is it a 5-year contract, or?
It's open until one of the parties wants to terminate it, I think, if I remember the terms of the agreement.
Regular wording in here, the pricing.
that one, this one doesn't have.
It doesn't? There you go, okay. There's their date, let's see. It didn't have a date, okay.
This was, yeah, so it says, the agreement shall take effect on the first calendar day, after approved in court, which was in 2018, and shall continue in force and effect until terminated in accordance with section 8. And section 8 reads, the agreement may be terminated by either party upon written notice. Such notice must specify an effective date of termination, which shall not be less than 30 calendar days after the date of receipt of the notice by either party. And then, so this is the amendment, which reads, as of June 1st, 2023, the contract entitled Professional Services Agreement for Engineering Services between the following parties: Wilson County, Texas, KCI Technologies, Inc. Attachment B, rate schedule in the original contract will be deleted in its entirety and amended to read as follows. Attachment B, 2023 standard billing rates. These changes are the only changes to the original contract. The entire remainder of the original contract remains in full force. This amendment shall be effective once signed by both parties and beginning June 1st, 2023. And so it's got the amended rates, or the 2018 rates with the proposed rates. And as Commissioner Martin said, most of them are a $5 increase, with the exception of senior project manager is a $20 increase. Administrative assistant is a $10 increase.
And then the senior construction
And
inspection.
senior construction inspector went from 108 to 145, so that's a $37 rate increase.
Ms. Burleson, can you come up for just a minute, please? I think you knew I was going to call you up here. Okay, you can take the podium, right? So I got to ask you, are we getting, I mean, you have to deal with them a lot, correct? The invoices come through you?
Well, I just got like 2 back-to-back. One was January through April 22nd, and the second one was April 22nd through June 22nd.
Are we getting enough information on the itemized invoicing from this company to understand what they're doing?
We're not.
We're not?
I think that it kind of gets, well, from the first one, and it was really small, had to like blow it up, but it's the same line items 2 or 3 times. It doesn't really state like, why it's that way, like, is it like review 1, review 2, or, any of that kind of stuff. So,
So you're telling me that we're not getting enough information on the invoices for the work they're saying they're performing?
Yes.
it's kind of all lumped, yeah.
And I think we need to be billed on a 30-day basis. Don't stretch it out from January till,
They did say they were going to. I don't know what the reasoning was that this was done like this, but the first bill was over 18,000, and the second bill was 10,600. So I'm just like, we need to get a little bit of a tighter rope on it, I guess,
Yeah,
because
is there a reason why they don't bill us every 30 days?
I'm not sure why they didn't bill us recently, but we
they
can
did
ask
say
them to
going
provide more
forward, they were
detail.
gonna do it every 30 days, is what they told me.
Well, I would recommend that, who's approving the invoices? You are?
I approved the first one, but I didn't know about the second one because I'm like, they do floodplain development reviews and they do subdivisions. So in my opinion, they should be coming out of 2 different accounts on the billing. It should be coming out of the floodplain account if it's floodplain related and subdivision if it's subdivision
We only
related.
have one fund, which is the subdivision fund 3,900, where those invoices are getting coded to. But what I was gonna recommend is whoever is responsible for approving those invoices should not be approving the invoices unless you're clear on what you're paying for, because my office has no idea. If once the official or the department head approves them, that tells me you've already reviewed it, you're accepting the invoice, and we're paying it as such, because we've paid them since the inception of that contract $105,000. So somebody needs to be looking at the invoices to confirm.
Yeah, I approved the first one because that was before my time, so I didn't have any way to know if it was correct really or not. But the second one, I don't believe I've approved it yet.
For this fiscal year,
For the 10,600?
yeah, so we've got, transactions year to date this fiscal year are 41,309 since October. So that would include anything from October 1 to today, or through June 27th.
This budget year,
This current-
41,000 years.
Yes, sir.
But they're not billing us on a 30-day cycle. This one.
They said they're going to, but they have not.
I think they were, I'm not sure what happened in January through now. I know they had some management changes or whatever. It's not an excuse, but we can certainly make sure that they provide additional detail in the invoice. I know some of them were pretty lacking because Tammy asked me to look at it the other day. And yes, they should be billing us every 30 days.
Whenever they bill us, are they coming through you for everything, or do you know everything that we're getting billed for? What I mean is, are
Well,
you talking to KCI, is it coming through your office, or is it coming through somebody else?
No, it was emailed in to me.
Yeah,
Making sure that the county's paying for their services, not having.
I'm not really concerned about the small rate increase that they're doing. I'm concerned about what are they doing? I mean, if they're not providing the information on the invoices of what they're doing. how do
I'm
we
going to
know?
assume that on the first part of the year, that everyone prior to the change after Ms. Hoshek retired, they were not allowed to call KCI directly. It had to come through our office so that we could keep tabs and know what was going on.
Hey,
Any developers, engineers, contractors, but they were going around, because I talked to Mr. Jaster, and he said, yeah, we get calls all the time, and we've been dealing with them directly.
So
Well,
because of that, that could be a deal that
Increasing.
we didn't oversee and approve.
right, correct.
especially right now that we're in budget season, do a better job at budgeting, those projected expenses for the fiscal year, because we
It's-
don't budget enough for what we expend.
Well,
Yeah, it's kind of expensive.
came up in the subdivision meeting the other day about evidently there's been access to the people that we have the contract with, KCI, by developers to where they didn't consult with the county, they contacted them directly. And this imposed a bill on the county from the KCI side of it because they're going, we have to bill somebody, and they hadn't been instructed to do anything differently evidently. Well, it was brushed upon, but never was anything talked about on this is what will happen in the future. They don't need to have the ability to take and incur a bill for Wilson County. They need to take and go through the office, and if there are any questions, that office needs to take and go, okay, we need to take and do this. Because along the way, whenever we're charging our fees, part of our fee structure is to compensate them for the work that they're doing. And if they're gonna go up and do a rate increase, then we need to see how that's gonna affect what we charge the developers, because we're not gonna charge the taxpayers, we're gonna charge the people who are using the services.
Didn't we just go up on our subdivision fees last year? Or was
I
that
thought it was
for-
2010,
No,
Oh,
just
wait.
recently. What-
two- 2008.
I don't think, yeah,
It did go
it didn't
right.
affect, it didn't affect subject,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
subdivisions, I don't believe.
Yeah, I think some of that billing, though, is that they were going directly to KCI, where those developers, engineers should have been billed directly from KCI and not us, but I don't have anything to prove or disprove that.
And that's why we're asking all these questions. We had a problem.
We need to scrutinize the bill a little.
Yeah.
County, that's not the-
If they go to them directly, they're supposed to be billed directly.
So who's that point of contact at KCI?
It's Doug, I don't know how to say his last name, DeCiccio or Frank Jaster?
Frank is the client representative. Doug is the guy that does most of the work.
I believe Frank is the one that's on that signature page, Judge.
Yeah.
Jaster?
Yoster.
Joster? Okay, so we can't continue to operate like this. So something's got to be done.
That bill that hasn't been approved yet, we need them to break that down so we know exactly what that is.
It should be easy. If they're billing a project for something,
There are some notes on the bill, and in some cases, it's hard to tell whether it was they were working for us or whether they, it just says work on Tierra Robles or review drainage on Tierra Robles. Don't know for sure if they were reviewing that as us or they were reviewing something to answer a question. And I think it's easy to handle. We've had this problem before. The developers don't understand their comments, so they want to talk directly to the guy that's making the comment, and then I think it's gotten out of hand again. A couple of minutes here and there is no big deal. But when they have a 30-minute phone conversation, well, that runs into a half-hour billable time for that individual.
Yeah, so I did put a stop to all of that. I told KCI they are not to talk to anyone directly without coming through the office first.
Okay, so they know that now, right?
Yes,
Now, there
correct.
is an invoice in this, that she approved for 10,600.
That's the January to,
I did not approve the 10,600 one yet, because I asked questions, so I did not approve it.
It was, did Amanda send it out to you?
Yeah, she sent it out to me, and I said, I don't know about this one. I need to know how you guys are coding it, if it comes out of subdivision and floodplain. And I had questions before I wanted to approve it.
Regarding what, because it's in the subdivision, the 3,900 fund. Were you waiting on questions from us or from KCI?
No, I was waiting on an answer from y'all, and then I was gonna get with KCI to see
Okay.
what the deal was.
We need clarification if they were working for the county or if these were developers or contractors calling and asking questions. Because Because I don't think we need to be paying for 30-minute phone calls for
No.
contractors or developers calling on information. That's not on us.
Right.
ACI needs to be clear on their billing, who they're,
And we don't want to be an impediment to the developers either, but there's no way unless they come through you that we have accountability on this. Otherwise, we won't know what they're doing.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, and actually, when we were going over this and talking about it, it might be that one of the things we need to look at is give them two review cycles on these reviews. In other words, they make their initial submission, county engineer reviews it, he provides his comments. Should be resolved within 2, and if takes more than 2 review cycles to do it, then the developer gets an additional charge, or whatever the charges are if they can't agree on that. That might help slow some of this down too. I think that was a good idea.
Yeah, because the one that's on this new bill is Villa Las Flores, and I don't understand what is going on forever. And so I asked KCI and I've asked Intrepid, what's the deal? You have 2 engineers talking to each other. I don't get it.
I want to refer over to Ms. Huron. Ms. Huron, so is it a contractual wording thing that we're missing here with them that, I mean, if there's no
You have a right to ask for a very detailed invoice as to what the county is being billed, and what service is being provided when, and for it to be itemized, and to know whether or not they are providing services related to only issues dealing with the county, but if there's other developers that are charging, as you said, that, they think they're on the county's time because they're a county engineer and they have a contract, and therefore they have the right to bill us for anything related, then we need to look at the contract very specifically. I mean, I'd be happy to do that and look at what exactly they're charging and what the invoices. The auditor has it coded in a specific way, which seems to be a general coding, but if the invoices are not meshing with that, then yeah, they probably need to be looked into.
and Ms. Trevino, you say that the floodplain and the subdivisions are all coded into one deal?
Fund 3900 is where these invoices are coded to, yes, all KCI. We don't know any different when they're coming to us if they're floodplain or subdivision. We know that KCI is the engineering firm that was approved by court for subdivision review or whatever it is that they do. We don't have a line item for floodplain expenses.
Isn't that really 2 different things, the subdivision and the floodplain?
Well, yeah, it kind of is, but I mean, if all of that money's being deposited into the same account, then it's going to be paid out of the same account, I guess, right? Is that?
We have a revenue line item for subdivision revenue. If floodplain money, I don't know if floodplain money hits that line item or not.
They're all coded to different line items, so they all go in, that's 3,900 for your last.
But it's all in the fund 3900.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's all going, all the revenue is going into the same fund, which means all the expenses come out of the same fund.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think we got off on what the agenda item number 12 really was. So it's on the amendment for the price increase. Commissioners, I'm going to defer to y'all. Do you have any comments? Any advice? I'm not happy with what I just heard, so.
About to get hit with another, I'd just like to ask, whenever you notified them, was it over the phone? Did you send them an email? You know,
It was over the phone. I
Okay.
talked to Mr. Jaster.
and which leads into, with this increase, do we need to take and put a stipulation included in it that all services will be approved by and go through the office of Wilson County Planning Department, and that we will absolutely deny any services that are done for third parties, and not under our direction? Is that something we need to?
Couldn't write all that down, but it
I don't
sounds right.
expect you to. I'm
It's
throwing it
already-
out to the group on is, and doing our due diligence, and because of the conversation
one of these is.
I believe that's already in the contract, or in
one in-
the,
Well,
in there.
Related to that in the original contract and y'all's packet.
which lends itself to the next thing that I was going to bring up.
I mean, I know when Leanne managed that, you know, she was very particular. I do feel a little bit sorry for Ms. Burleson because she got kind of thrown into this and there was no activity there for a short period of time. I don't think it's anything that we can't fix. Like I said, this problem has happened before. It's not the first time, and it's, you know, it's just one of those things, just like you tell your kids, no, 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 and it's like, how many times do I have to tell you? So, and I think, I talked to Mr. Jaster, because there's a couple of charges in there that I know should have been charged to my precinct. And we can ask them to provide more detail. And, because when they enter their time, they have a deal where they can put comments on what they were working on. Some of them are brief, some of them are longer. And so we can just make sure that they put sufficient detail in there so that when we get the invoice, we can know. And if we need to, we can send a letter out to the developers and the contractors and tell them that, you know, or remind them that, you know, if you want to have a conversation with the county engineer, it's on your own dime. I think, for the most part, my experience in the past, when I was doing this, I did the best I could to make it as clear as I could as to exactly what they needed to do. Some of them just don't want to do it. Well, we can do it this way. You know, we're not here to argue about how it is, you know, and so, you know, if it says in our regulations, you're supposed to do A, B, C, D, I look to see if A, B, C, D is checked off. If I can check all those boxes off, then I give them a thumbs up. If I'm only seeing A and B, I'm going to ask, where's C and D? And there's a bunch of them that'll ask, well, why do I need to turn in C and D? Well, because it says that in the regulations. You know, they're doing engineering reports. They have to substantiate why they picked a certain coefficient for runoff in their development. If I, as a reviewer, don't agree with that, I tell them, I don't agree with how you selected your C factor for whatever. You know, please make a correction. You know, and so a lot of it seems to be non-compliance or ignorance on the developer's part or their engineer's part. They just don't want to do it. So they'll call them up, well, hey, what do I need to do? I mean, I've actually had developers call me in the past and say, well, what number do you want me to use? It's not for me to tell you what number to use, it's for you to substantiate the number that you use.
Well, I think if we approve the rate increase, we need to put something in there about the third-party people calling, and that's not the county's responsibility to pay for a 30-minute phone conversation with a developer or contractor or whatever. We just need a little more clarification on our billing. And I think, Gary, you looked at that January to March or April bill. It's pretty vague. It's.
Yeah, some of it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to really, I couldn't tell you where those charges needed to be billed against, so.
Yeah.
So, if I may, gentlemen.
Yes.
You know, if you have put out for bidding the contract with these engineers and the contract provides, excuse me, for a specific price or what they're going to charge for and how they're going to do an itemized, and they got this bid based on that, and then midway through the contract, they're like, okay, we want to amend it because we want to raise our rates, or we need to increase the rates, then that needs to be scrutinized because, you know, if they're in the middle of a contract with a governmental agency for a specific amount, for a duration of time, and that doesn't provide for subsequent possible rate increases or what that rate is going to cover, then, you know, the county needs to look at that very closely, because then anybody could just low bid the county, get the contract, and then midway through say, oh, we're changing our rates, and we're adding this, and
Yeah,
we're adding that.
but it's not a bid, it's a proposal because it's professional services. So rates don't matter. You can't even look at rates when you evaluate the contract, so.
I'm just curious, I'm looking at this agreement. I don't see TCI's name on this, it's just county, agreement for county engineering services. And this was signed, only signature I see on there is John T. Mooneyham?
Because in 2018, they were on the front page, Judge,
were
they're
Case
civil
Okay.
engineering consultants, and then they changed their names to
Mm.
KCI.
Right, and we have,
Okay.
they provided that documentation when that happened.
Looking through here, this is, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's termination, for cause, termination. I mean, it's written in here, if they don't provide the reports, you know, that satisfies their invoices, you get rid of them. I mean, so they need to do their part, and we need to have that. We need to have those invoices, more in-depth of what they're doing, not just they were spent an hour and a half talking to somebody. Who is that somebody?
I couldn't really make heads or tails out of the invoice that
Okay.
they sent that this person was looking at. I could tell it was professional services, but I couldn't tell you if it was for precinct 1, 2, 3, 4, or if it was a contractor or developer, or who was engaged with them, causing us to be billed.
When is this contract over with?
It's an open-ended.
It's an open end?
Open-end contract.
Okay, so, Ms. Huron, what you're saying is they really shouldn't be doing that midstream on the increase?
I mean, I haven't seen the original contract, but it should provide in the original contract that periodically the rates will be reviewed, and if an increase is necessary, then they will.
I think it's in here. I read it somewhere.
If not, then, I mean, that's the contract.
Okay.
Let Ms. Huron review the contract before we take a vote on this.
Oh, I think it's the right thing to do. I'll entertain a motion to table so that Ms. Huron can,
I'll make a motion that we table this and tell Ms. Huron or the county attorney's office can review the contract and advise us on whether or not we need to do a rate increase or do something
or
different.
approve a rate increase.
Yes.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Paradola, seconded by Commissioner Aiken to table agenda item number 12 until it's further reviewed by the county attorney's office. Is there any other discussion?
I have a question, Judge.
Yes.
In the meantime, who is Tammy the one that we need to be sending the invoices to for review and approval?
Yes. Any other discussions, Commissioners?
Just in general, Judge, on these contracts, if we're going to be discussing them in detail like we have, this is the second one today, I'd like to be emailed ahead of time in the previous week so that I can review it. And if I have any questions, I can ask questions ahead of the court date.
Okay. So if we have that on an upcoming agenda, can we make sure the commissioners get that attached item on a contract so they can review it?
I mean, it just depends on who it's coming
Yeah.
from, if they're sending it.
And what I'll do, Commissioner, I'll keep an eye out on it. If it comes to me first, then I'll send it to y'all.
It might just
Commissioner,
save
it is
some
in your
time.
book, though, that contract.
Yeah,
I don't
we
get the book
we don't
till
get the
I
book
arrive.
until the morning. I mean, we get all the attachments and see them.
Okay.
They didn't get the book put together till late Friday.
Yeah, we had a little setback this last week, so. Any other discussions, Commissioners? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote to table agenda item number 12. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, it is tabled. Agenda item number 13, we have our County Sheriff, Jim Stewart, to give us our progress report. Come on up, Sheriff.
Progress report for today. As we walked into here this morning, I was taking text messages. In the jail this morning, had a fire in a dryer. Evidently, excuse me, dryer and washing machine got burned up. I don't know the extent of the damage till I get back over to check on it later. But yes, we had a little fire in the jail this morning, and I think the maintenance, Freddie Flores, was being looked into for smoke inhalation because he was in there trying to get it taken care of.
Sure, by all means, if you need to go, go. Don't stick around here. Go take care of your shop. Okay. All right, sir. All right. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 14, Tammy Burleson, Permitting and Development Director on, we'll start with 14A, naming of a private lane, Precinct 4, Holcomb Lane, review and approve.
Good morning. Holcomb Lane is going to be at the end of 302 to the east of County Road 304. It's a 30-foot ingress egress easement that needs to be named for 911 addressing purposes.
Commissioners, I'll entertain motion 14A1.
Do we have this anywhere?
Yeah, 14? Oh, wait a minute, you don't have 14.
What I'm looking for is, I don't see a map. or nothing. And that's just that road going straight through,
Yes.
straight off of,
Yeah,
302.
Will calls at the very end of it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, accept this, Holcomb Lane.
Motion made by Commissioner King. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Okay, we will move to 14B, utility permit, and there are 5 subsections under there. Number 1, permits 733 Spring Hill Water, WSC Precinct 3, 772, County Road 339. Review and approve. Actually, we have 3 more for Precinct 3, so we'll skip over 2 and come back to that. So 14B3, permit 735, Southern Springs District, Precinct 3, County Road 321. Review and approve. Number 4, permit 736, Precinct 3, County Road 342, review and approve. And 14B5, permit 737, Sutherland Springs, Precinct 3, County Road 337, review and approve.
So permit number 733, which is Spring Hill Water Supply, is doing a 30-foot under County Road 339, laying a 2-inch PVC casing for new service. And,
That one, they're just going, boring under the road.
yes.
Okay.
And the other one, 735, is mooring under County Road 321, laying a 2-inch casing with a 1-inch PVC service approximately 850 feet southeast of Enchanted Oaks. This will be a second meter for the readers, which we just approved a variance for last week. And 736 is S&S Water doing a boring of, in the right-of-way of County Road 342, installing 800 feet of 6-inch PVC at the intersection of County Road 337 and 342. This will also include a 3-inch to 6-inch control valve and fire hydrant approximately 800 feet northwest of the intersection of County Road 342. These lines are going in for the Camino Verde subdivision and any future needs on County Road 342.
Did you say one of those were for a fire hydrant?
They're going to put a 3-inch to 6-inch control valves and fire hydrant, 800 feet northwest of County Road 342.
Is that sufficient?
Should be 6-inch.
About 6, correct?
6.
That'd
That's
be a
what he
six.
has on here.
From a three.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that variance right there where they have the option. They shouldn't have the option.
I guess it's feet to the fire on a 6-inch main.
That's right. Mr. Aiken, you firefighter, what do you think?
Anytime you have a reduction, you have a flow restriction, and I think we kind of covered that before in court, that
So no, are you?
It says on the application, the 6.
No, it says 6-inch on here.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
it says it
trying
on
to-
there, but no variant for 3 to 6,
But
right?
it says fire hydrants assembly, which include 3-inch to 6-inch control valve. I guess the control valve is something
That's something
different.
separate. That has nothing to do
Two
with the
different
size of
things.
the line.
Okay. Okay. I see where it says it.
Good with that?
Good, yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
I'm going to make a motion that we accept permit 733, permit 735, permit 736, and permit 737.
Motion made by Commissioner Paradola. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion on 14B 1, 3, 4, and 5 items? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. We now move to 14B2, permit 734, Three Oaks, Precinct 2, County Road 206, review and approve.
So they're just laying a water line here to go underneath the county road. The house. Make a motion to approve this water line.
Motion made by Commissioner King.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Martin on agenda item 14B2. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. We move to agenda item 14C, pipeline crossing permit, and they all appear to be from the same precinct. Two, starting with 14C1, permit 135 EVX Eagle Ford Partners LLC, Precinct 2, County Road 214. C2, permit 136 EVX Eagle Ford Partners, County Road 207. C3, permit 137, County Road, Precinct 2, County Road 216. And C4, permit 138 EVX Eagle Ford Partners, Precinct 2, County Road 247.
So I've talked to, Mr. Nix?
Pepper Nix.
Pepper Nix. So I spoke with him the other day, and right now we have a saltwater line going underneath these county roads. Hopefully it'll reduce some of this truck traffic that we got. So I would like to go ahead and approve, or make a motion to approve these permits. Permit 135, 136, 137, and 138 for these county roads.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin on agenda item 4C, 1 through 4. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. We'll move to agenda item number 15. Ms. Genevieve Martinez, County Clerk, discuss take action on Commissioner Court minutes.
They have been reviewed by the county judge and the county attorney's office.
I have reviewed it.
If you want something, you'll get her to change it.
We'll get them to change it.
Okay.
Or I'll just, I'll
Scratch it out.
scratch it. All right, Commissioners, for agenda item number 15, I'll entertain a motion to accept the Commissioner Court court minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the June 12th and 26th of 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion on agenda item 15? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Agenda item number 16, Christina Moots, County Treasurer, discuss and take action on County Treasurer's financial report.
Good morning. What you have in front of you this morning is for April, which I apologize, I was supposed to report last month, or last Commissioners Court, and had to leave for an emergency. So what we have is on hand ending April 30th, 2023.
And I don't know if you or Brenda can answer this better. So on the American Rescue Plan fund balance, is the radio, does this include the last invoice for the radios?
Yes.
So that the balance we have is the 6.4?
That might not include, because I think the last invoice was that May.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
We've
It's-
already paid it and cleared, so this is as of,
This is, yes, this is as
So
of
it's not-
April.
it'll be on the
So
next
yes, you will see it in the next Commissioners Court. I will have those, but not reflecting in this one. But it is paid and current, the account. Just not reflecting on this report that you're receiving today.
Y'all have any questions for the treasurer?
Where does the money come from in the Civil Preparedness Fund?
That is the floodplains. And we'll report that from the EMA report that we receive.
Is that FEMA money?
When we receive the EMA from the floodplains, is that, I'm trying to think when y'all receive that from the floodplains?
No, that's more
The
than,
permit, right? Development on that. Yeah, that's what that's coming from. That's that fund.
actually, I think the Civil Preparedness
yeah,
Fund,
that
isn't
fund,
that?
that
That's
Civil Preparedness Fund is one that's by statute that the court approved to establish years ago. And we have that money sitting in there for the court's determination and how to spend it regarding.
Does that go into the fund balance, or is
No,
that separate?
fund.
Separate account. Yeah,
Where did that money come from?
Yeah, that's,
Where did we get it?
how do we get that money?
that's from the floodplain permits that we receive.
Okay.
Yes.
All of it comes from that?
I cannot answer,
The money, it was originally established by an opening dollar amount that may have come from the general fund at some point
Point.
to establish the Civil Preparedness Fund.
yes, that,
You have to go back to see when it was originally established, but, and then from there it continues
to
to build.
build.
Get a permit in the floodplain, then that money goes to the.
We will transfer, yes.
How much is in there right now?
370, hold on, I'm a little off, 300.
$48,118.84.
Oh, I'm looking at the,
Yes.
yeah. Well,
No, 312,000.
312.
you're looking at the combined, Commissioner Martin, because we do have a civil preparedness checking account as well as a civil preparedness CD.
Right.
So, yeah, and when you're looking at the treasurer's monthly report that is produced by FI at the end of your report, that has both of those accounts combined. But the second page of your report will separate those out.
And at one point, just for historical knowledge, when the American Rescue Plan Committee was established, we were looking at utilizing some of the money in the civil preparedness CD to add on to our American Rescue Plan funds, if there was not going to be enough money for the building of the new emergency operations center.
Okay.
But nothing has been, I think the last money that we spent out of there was,
The light towers?
no, sir.
Yeah.
Maybe so, yeah,
Yeah.
light towers.
Talking about the generator
and I
light
wanna say
tower.
that we also, budgeted that new pickup truck for the emergency, for Edwin's pickup truck out of there as well last year.
Because there was on that last page, there was a debit of like $3,600 for that. So that's probably, I think that's, isn't that what the light towers were, about
Yes.
$3,600?
Yes,
For all four of them, then?
Yeah.
yeah.
$12,000 for the four, weren't they?
Yeah, we got a bargain on that. That's good.
Yeah, 3,000 apiece.
All right. I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 16, County Treasurer's Report.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's financial report for April 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Thank you. You gave me one, and I, okay. All right. Okay. Very good. Got my signature. Is coming down here.
Oh.
Agenda item number 17, J. Lynn Bodiford, our Human Resource Specialist, presentation of payroll, not parole, we ain't gonna put you on parole. Payroll and personal changes. You might feel like you're on parole, but you're not.
Good morning. Chris Pettis resigned from his position as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department effective June 26th. Juan Garcia resigned from his position as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department effective June 26th. And Michael Cantu resigned from his position as a sergeant corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department effective July 1st.
Y'all have any questions? There's no action needed on that. Just
Thank you.
thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Agenda item number 18, Brenda L. Trevino, County Auditor, discuss and take actions on county bills.
A lot lesser load for you. Total bills is $135,576.64. That does include the $10,600 from KCI. So if you want to approve them all except that one, then you can make the adjustment on the dollar amount. Just know that, if the KCI gets taken out, then, it will not get, approved and paid until next.
Because we tabled it until.
It's been tabled, so we need to take it out. So whoever makes, after you get through looking at that budget, whoever makes that motion, make sure that you use that language. I'd already seen it. I got one question. So I need to ask Christina, if ESD won, they have that election to take on Stockdale area, are we going to incur anything as far as an election cost of that? That's solely in that area, correct?
Olga will bill the EST
Okay.
for the election itself.
But the county itself has no,
Well, we'll pay for election workers.
Yes, we take care of the election workers, and then the election administrator will bill for any expenses that they occur, and she will then return, or once they, get the check, they'll obtain that.
okay. That, I just need to know, we're going to incur some of it, but then we get it back?
Yes, she turns around and bills
Okay.
the entity that we're running the election for.
Because it looks like it's going to go to an election, but there's two. They got to vote for it in the Livonia area, and they have to vote for it in the Stockdale area.
And I will check with Olga as well, just to make sure that,
Okay,
that that is normally the situation, she will bill them, but they will incur the cost on payroll for the election workers.
I just wanted to get that on record. I know some people asked me about that, and how they weren't angry about it, just want to know how does it work?
No, every entity that contracts with the county is responsible for paying for their election and for.
Okay. And the reason I asked, I happened to see the elections budget code there at the bottom, so. All right, Commissioners, for agenda item number 18, if you're all ready to proceed, I'll entertain a motion for 18.
Make a motion to approve the bills and subtract the KCI since it was tabled.
Okay, motion made to accept the bills by Commissioner King and minus the KCI billing till we get a better dollar amount and a itemized invoice on it.
Second.
I got a tie, throw it up. Seconded by Commissioner Paradola. Any other discussion? Hear none, call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those against, motion passes. All right, let's do that. 135, 546, 64.
124, 946.64. So the total dollar amount approved is $124,946.64.
All right, for the minutes, it's $124,946.64.
All of it.
I think just one with all of them, yeah, because it'll be.
Or did I call for a vote yet? Okay,
No,
did I?
by the county attorney, by the
Yeah, I
county.
did. I go, okay. I don't know if I called for a vote or not. I got
No,
distracted.
you were working on the amount there.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Oh,
did.
is there any of the, I did call for a vote?
No.
No.
All right. I got distracted there for a minute. If there's no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. And before I call for an adjournment, y'all do know that we're reconvening here at 1 o'clock, right back here in this room, for a special meeting. Did y'all know that, right? Correct? So y'all go to lunch. So that the public knows, we'll be going down to the Phelps Building on 181 to take a look at that as a possible Wilson County Emergency Operations Center. Nothing more than we'll have our meeting there. I would like to return back here, and then we'll close the meeting out again there. Now, while we do that, we do have another agenda item for that second meeting where we'll have our Emergency Management Coordinator, Cindy Stafford's going to go ahead and announce a burn ban for Wilson County. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this morning meeting.
Question, Judge.
I'll go ahead, sir.
Since we're going to convene and pledge the flags,
We can
can we-
bypass.
can we put the issue of the burn ban on that prior to going out there and coming back?
We are. We're gonna vote on that first.
We're going to do that for
We're
you?
gonna do that
Okay.
before
I
we go.
misunderstood.
Yeah. And I probably didn't say that. I meant to say, we're gonna do that first before we go there and get that out of the way. So,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Aye.
From the side of the table that didn't have as much coffee this morning.